Hey, hi, very good afternoon, everyone. Let's wait for a couple more minutes because I see a lot more people are logging in. So just wait for 2 more minutes and then we start at 2 p.m. Okay. Okay, let's start. Hi, a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. Stay ahead in a digital world. Rewrite your story, reskill, reinvent, and rise with SkillsFuture Career Transition Program. My name is Senthil. I head the Technology Skills Division at NTUC LearningHub. And today we are going to go through the overview of latest tech trends and the various funding options that we have together with the training allowance for the SCTP programs. And then my colleagues are later going to walk through the various programs that we offer under SCTP. So today we are going to cover desktop support, cloud, cybersecurity, associate data analyst, agility project manager, and full stack developer. And finally, we will end the session with a Q&A. Okay, so let me start with the first session, which is the overview to the tech landscape and the SCTP introduction. I would like to start the session by sharing how skills have evolved in the modern workforce. Okay, so this is an interesting report. It's published by LinkedIn. So if you look at this report, right, it states skills have changed by 36% in Singapore since 2015, with the pace accelerating during COVID-19 pandemic. And at this pace, by 2025, which is the year we are right now, nearly 50% of the skills needed for jobs will change. Okay, so the link has been provided here. So if you go to this link, right, you go and select the current role that you're performing. Example, let's say you're doing the role of digital marketer, right? You select from the drop-down menu the role of digital marketer. The site will show you what were the common skills that were required to perform this role in 2015 versus what are the new skills that employers are looking for as of 2023. So you see that there is a drastic difference in the skills requirement for employers, which average out to be 36%. Okay. So this shift actually presents both challenges and opportunities. So staying ahead of the curve requires continuous upskilling and reskilling. Today, we are going to talk about tech. Why tech? Why now? Recently, you may have read in the news, right? And it's very common to see these days that a lot of tech professions are being retrenched from many large companies at the global level. Okay. On the other hand, if you look at the recent articles, right? So the first article is from Straits Times. Teaching and tech professionals in high demand in 2024. The Singapore job market remains tight. Talent hunt continues despite layoffs as firms deepen digitalization. If you later, I'm going to share with you more insights. On one hand, while we see that people are being retrenched from tech jobs, on the other hand, we are also hearing from the industry that there are not enough tech talent. They are struggling to find local tech talent to fill the vacancies. Okay, because of the ongoing digital transformation efforts, companies are actually struggling to find tech talent. So let me share with you some proof for this. So this is number one, coming from Ministry of Manpower. So it's a report published by Ministry of Manpower. They call it the Shortage Occupation List for 2025. So this list identifies the most in-demand professions in the local economy. And it's actually a good reference for Singaporeans, okay? So these are the important or in-demand tech roles out there, but not enough local candidates can apply and fill those roles. So if you look at all the various verticals within tech, be it cloud, cybersecurity, software development, data, AI, or tech leadership, across all the verticals, there are plenty of jobs, but they remain unfilled because there are not enough applicants to take those jobs. Okay, so this is MOM. Another report coming from LinkedIn. So this is LinkedIn's the 15 fastest growing job roles in Singapore. So if you look at the highlighted roles, right? So actually 8 out of 15 highlighted roles are tech related. And it doesn't mean the remaining roles don't need tech skills. In fact, today we are in a world where everybody, as long as you use computers in your job, you are required to know some technical skills. For example, everybody needs to know data analytics. Everybody needs to know how to use Gen AI tools. Okay, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was very common, right, for employers to mention in the job description, everybody the candidates will need to know how to use Microsoft Office. So today we are in a world where employers are asking candidates or applicants to know how to use Gen AI, how to use data analytics. So it's a skill that everybody needs to have today. Okay. So upskilling in tech today will prepare you for the jobs of tomorrow. I like this famous quote by this gentleman, Mark Anderson. So this gentleman is the founder of Netscape, which is one of the earliest web browsers in the mid-90s. So he's now a renowned venture capitalist in the Silicon Valley area. In 2011, he made a statement. He said, software is eating the world. In future, every company will become a tech company. Okay, at that time, many disagreed with this statement. But now, if you look at how things are progressing around us, right? Actually, his statement actually holds a lot more weight. You look at the leaders. You look at leaders across the various sectors. Okay, you look at retail, for example. Who is the market leader in retail? Okay, at the global level, it's Amazon. When it comes to entertainment, the leaders are Netflix, Spotify. Hospitality is Airbnb. Real estate is Property Guru. Transportation, we have the likes of Grab, Gojek. Automotive sector, we have Tesla. Bank, we have DBS. So if you look at what is common in all these companies, right, they operate like a tech company. So although they are in different verticals, the way they are structured, the way they operate, they actually operate like a tech company. So that's a secret sauce behind why these companies are market leaders. So imagine what happens, right, when the top 2, 3, 4 spots are occupied by the companies who behave like a tech company, the remaining companies in the same industry are also taking the same footsteps as the market leaders. So that's why Mark Anderson said every company in the near future will become a tech company at some point. Okay, that's where we are going towards. So what that means to us, every sector needs tech talent. Okay, because all companies are trying to modernize, they are trying to operate like a tech company. So which means it will create more opportunities and demand for tech talent. But when it comes to tech jobs, right, there is a common misconception. People think tech jobs require coding, but actually it's not true. There are many different kinds of roles within tech. For example, the roles like IT project management, cybersecurity, cloud administration. So all these roles are tech jobs, but they don't require coding skills. Okay, I give an example. Yeah. So let's look at a simple example. How do you build a house? Okay. So if you decide to build a house, the first step is project initiation. So this is where you go and talk to an architect to discuss how many floors, how many rooms you need, what's your budget, what's the timeline you're looking for, and that's the first phase. In the second phase, the architect and the interior designer will gather a lot more information from you, such as the layout of the rooms, the styles, the materials, the colors, and so on. So that's the stage number 2. In stage number 3, the architect will create a blueprint for the house, whereas the interior designer will come and show you how the house will looks like, when it is built, how it will look like, the design of the house. Then in step number 4, so whatever the architect and the interior designer comes out with, many other roles will come inside, the likes of builders, the electricians, the plumbers, the carpenters. So all these professionals, right, they follow the blueprint created by architects and interior designer, and then they will start building the house. Then once the house is built, the next stage is testing. So this is where the building inspector will come and check whether this house is safe to move in. Step number 6 is actually the stage where you actually move into the house. Step number 7. So after you move into a house, it's common, right? You may have to do some maintenance work. There may be some leaks here, some leaks there. You may want to do some servicing along the way. So that's step number 7. So this is the project of building a house. So today, when you look at software projects, right, it's no different from what you're seeing here. So if you look at the software development lifecycle, so for example, whether you are building a mobile app or a website or a software, so they have to go through this same cycle. So it starts off with project initiation. So here there are roles like IT project manager, Scrum Master. In the next phase, there is roles like business analyst. So this person acts as a liaison between tech and business. In the third phase comes the solution architect. So comes out with the high-level system design. Then comes the UI UX specialist who will come out with the interface design, how the interface will look like. Then based on the plan that is designed in stage 3, the execution will happen in stage 4. So this is where the software developers or the coders will come in, and then they will do the development of the mobile app or the website. So once it's built, the next step is the testing phase, because when a software is built, right, it may have some bugs, it may have some flaws inside. So the role of the tester or the QA engineer is to ensure that the software is free from such bugs before it can go to the customer. So the next step is a deployment stage. So here there are many tech roles like deployment engineer, site reliability engineer, and so on. So this team is in charge of shipping the product, like launching the product for customers to use. And after the product is launched, there will be a maintenance team. So for example, if you face any issues, so this is a team that you will call. Okay, so there are roles like application support engineer, system administrator. So there are many different kinds of support roles in this step. Okay, so in summary, what I'm trying to say from this life cycle chart is that not all roles require you to know coding. So coding mainly happens in step number 4 and occasionally in sub-step number 5, but otherwise most roles here do not require you to know coding. Okay, so there are many different pathways for you to enter into tech, even though you are not a tech person today. So as Mark Anderson said, every company is becoming a tech company. So the demand is only going to go up. Okay, so as tech becomes integral to business strategy, the demand for tech professionals is only going to go up. And if you are new to IT, there are many different pathways for you to choose from to get into IT. So there are tracks like cloud, software development, cybersecurity, data analytics, AI, machine learning, and many more, like what you're seeing here. Okay, so these are the different entry points for you to get into tech. Okay, the second misconception, right? When people think of career transition, they think they have to forget about everything that they know. Okay, and they have to relearn everything from scratch. But actually, this is not true. Okay, you don't have to learn from scratch. So today, let's say you are a creative designer and you want to pivot to the role of UI UX designer. As a creative designer, you may already have skills like design thinking, user empathy, visual communication, and all these skills are still valuable when you pivot to the new role of UI UX designer. Okay. The second example, so today, let's say you're a traditional project manager using the waterfall approach of managing projects, and now you want to translate into the modern agile project manager or scrum master. So you may already have transferable skills like leadership, communication, risk management, so which are still valuable, okay, when you pivot to the new role. So whatever skills you have are still valuable when you go through a career conversion. So now let me introduce the SCTP program. So this is your launchpad to your future-ready career in tech. So SCTPs are long-format training programs that helps individuals in acquiring industry-relevant skills to improve your employability and pivot to new sectors or job roles. At LearningHub, we offer a wide range of SCTP programs, which my team is going to cover very shortly. And so far, I have seen people from all walks of life coming into our SCTP program. Okay, so take for example, I've seen candidates who are unemployed, underemployed, retrenched. I've seen gig workers who are currently stuck with a gig job and they want to come back into the corporate world. So they also see SCTP as a stepping stone to get back into the corporate world. The third one, women returning back to the workforce. So people, women take career break to look after, family or kids. So I've seen such personas also coming into SCTP and then going back into the corporate world. And the last one is the retiring officers from MHA and MINDEF. Okay, so regardless of your background, there is always a path for you in SCTP. So who is this program for? The program is open for all Singaporeans and PRs who are aged 21 years and above, regardless of your employment status, but you should be looking for training opportunities to transit into a new role. Okay, so today we are talking about tech roles, right? So when you enroll in SCTP, you should have the intention to transit into a tech role. The program duration ranges between 3 to 9 months, depending on the mode of study. So typically, our full-time SCTPs can be completed within 3 to at most 4 months. On the other hand, the part-time SCTPs can take up to 9 months because part-time classes are typically conducted in evenings. That means like 7 to 10, with a combination of some classes over weekends. On the other hand, full-time classes are done on weekdays, Monday to Friday from 9 to 6 p.m. So coming to the program structure itself, the program comprises of structured training. So as you see here, right, in the chart, so you're going to go through a number of courses. So when you sign up for SCTP, right, you're not just signing up for one course, you're actually signing up for a suite of courses, a bundle of courses. Okay. So as you go through a number of courses, you're going to gain a lot of new skill sets. And at the end of the program, there will be something called capstone project. So whatever you learned in the various modules, right, you're going to put into practice while working on the capstone project under the guidance of the industry practitioners. So this is how we have structured most of our SCTP programs. The mode of delivery, so some of our courses are delivered in person, face-to-face, whereas some other courses are delivered live through Zoom, whereas some other tracks will have a combination of both. So some modules will be instructor-led, face-to-face, some will be delivered through Zoom. Okay. Now coming to the funding part, so SCTP programs are heavily subsidized by SkillsFuture, and there are 3 levels of funding depending on your profile. So the base funding is 70%, which is applicable for all Singaporeans aged below 40 and all PRs regardless of your age. Okay. The second type of funding is 90%. So this is open for all Singaporeans aged 40 and above. The third type is 95% funding. So this is for Singaporeans with greater needs. Okay. So this includes Singaporeans who are unemployed for more than 6 months, or Singaporeans who are currently benefiting from a financial assistance scheme such as ComCare or persons with disabilities. Okay, so this group of Singaporeans can benefit up to 95% course fee subsidy. But that's not the end. There are also additional subsidies that you can tap onto. So the first one is the SkillsFuture credit. Okay, especially for those above 40, right? Singaporeans above 40, you should have $4,000 top up in your account, which can be used to offset the fee payable. If you happen to be Singaporean below 31 years old, you may also use your PSEA funds, okay, to pay for the program fee. If you happen to be NTUC members, you can claim up to $500 in UTAP funding. Okay, this is from NTUC. So overall, there are many different schemes that you can tap onto to offset the course fee payable for SCTP. Okay, the latest announcement is the launch of the training allowance. So this scheme is applicable only for Singapore citizens aged 40 and above. Okay, so SCTP, the SkillsFuture Mid-Career Allowance provides financial support of up to $3,000 per month to pursue full-time SCTP training. I'm going to go through the common questions that we normally get from trainees. Okay, the eligibility already mentioned, who is the target group. Okay, who is this for? Individuals who take time off to pursue full-time long-form training, which are generally conducted during working hours. Okay, so when you enroll in our full-time SCTP, which is Monday to Friday 9 to 6, then such programs are eligible for a training allowance. How is the training allowance calculated? It's calculated based on this formula: 50% of one's average income over the last 12 months, with a minimum allowance of 300 and a maximum allowance of 3,000. Okay, so this part, you don't have to worry. If you need more information, you can check with our skills consultants. They will guide you how to check your balance and how to calculate. And number 4, are all SCTPs offered by NTUC LearningHub eligible for TA? Okay, the answer is no. While majority of our SCTPs are eligible, we do have some short SCTP programs which are below 270 hours in duration, and such programs are not eligible for training allowance. So today at LearningHub, we offer a wide range of SCTP programs. So if you happen to be a creative or visual thinkers, you can consider tracks like UI, UX, or digital marketing. If you are a problem solver or a strategist, there are tracks like associate data analyst, associate product manager. If you want to get into IT infrastructure and operations, there are tracks like desktop support, cloud administrator. Okay, actually desktop support is the stepping stone. So let's say you're newbie, right? Not from IT background. So by going for desktop support and after completing the program and by gaining 1 or 2 years of experience, you can then go to the next level. So the next level will be cloud, the cloud administrator, or you can go into cybersecurity. Okay, so if your intention is to go into cloud or cybersecurity, the stepping stone, if you're non-IT, will be desktop support. On the other hand, if you already have like 2 or 3 years of experience in IT support roles, you can consider going for the cloud administrator track. Then for those of you who are interested in building apps, okay, software development, we have a track called full stack developer and also a DevOps engineer. And then for cybersecurity, we have two different pathways. Okay, the first pathway is more hands-on. Okay, we will teach you how to become an ethical hacker, how to become a security operations analyst. So that's the first track. The second track is more on the governance, risk and compliance side of cyber. Okay, so it's not very hands-on, but you will learn the governance side of IT and cyber. Okay, so each of these programs that you see here has its own prerequisites, and applicants will be selected based on their eligibility and commitment to the program terms and conditions. So the program comprises of two components, two funding components. Okay, so the first component is a course fee subsidy. The second component is a training allowance. To enjoy the course fee subsidy, you have to meet minimum 75% attendance for each course, each capstone project, and you need to sit and pass all prescribed assessments and capstone project. Okay, so this is the condition to benefit from the course fee subsidy, which is 70% to 95% depending on your profile. On the other hand, to qualify for training allowance, so this is applicable if you are a Singaporean aged above 40. So to qualify for the training allowance, you need to achieve minimum 75% attendance every month. Okay, this is on a calendar month basis. Yeah. So the outcome, SCTP is designed with one goal, helping you secure your next job fast. So when you join SCTP, here is what you can expect. You will expect career transition opportunities. So whether you are entering into a new tech role or you're pivoting to a new tech role, new role within your current company, okay, but this time as a tech person, or it also provides you with opportunities to pursue self-employment opportunities. Okay. It provides you with stronger job readiness because, as I mentioned before, our programs are more practical. It prepares you for industry certifications. We have capstone project that reinforce whatever you learn in the program. So you're going to put into practice in the capstone project. And the last is the career facilitation support that we provide. Okay, so we work closely with our partner E2I, and through E2I, we will also provide you with various career advisory services and workshops like resume writing, interview attending techniques, and so on. But the key point to take note is, while our objective here is to help you find job, we do not guarantee job placement. Okay. Okay, what common question I get? Actually, I'm not very sure whether I should consider SCTP because SCTP is a long commitment, right? So some people ask me, hey, is there any alternative for me? Can I just try out something for a short period of time to understand whether this is really my cup of tea? Okay, so here is my answer. Okay, if your goal is to really do a career switch into tech, then you can consider SCTP. But let's say you are not very sure, you're just exploring, or you're a hobbyist learner, then I recommend going for a short course. Okay. The commitment required for SCTP is very long. It's 3 to 9 months, depending on whether you're going for full-time or part-time. On the other hand, our short courses can be as short as 1 day or at most 5 days. SCTP comes with career support, whereas for short courses is limited through our partner E2I. The funding is pretty much the same for both SCTP and short courses. For SCTP, there is a training allowance component for Singaporeans aged above 40. SCTP is suitable for career switchers, job seekers, and mid-career professionals, whereas short courses are upskillers, curious learners, hobbies, retirees, and those who are not really looking for a job change. Okay, so if you're not very sure where to start, you can try short courses. Okay, I give a real example. So one of the trainees asked me, hey, actually, my goal is to become a software developer, but I do not want to commit 3 months upfront. Is there a shortcut for me? Okay, so I suggested this candidate to go and apply for a 3-day fundamentals of Python programming course. Okay, because at the end of the 3-day, right, you will realize whether coding is your cup of tea and whether you want to continue learning further. Okay, so for that, I suggest you to try short courses before you make a full commitment to get into SCTP. Yeah. So we have a number of success stories. We have people from all walks of life going through SCTP, and they pivoted into entry-level tech roles. But in the absence of time, I'm not going to go through in detail. Okay, so people from different walks, whether they are career switchers, whether like people took a long break, like women returning back to the workforce, people who are retrenched. So we have many different success stories. Okay, so what are the key benefits of tech SCTPs at LearningHub? So number one, we work with top tier content partners like AWS, the Microsoft. Okay, so the content that we use in our programs are official. And our programs are aligned to industry certification courses. So when you complete the SCTP, you are also in a position to go and sit for industry certification exams that will further boost your employability status. And our instructors are not normal lecturers, rather they are industry practitioners, okay? And we put more effort, more importance on hands-on training. So we don't focus more on the theory side. We emphasize more on the hands-on part because that is what employees are looking for. We have flexible schedules, both full-time and part-time, as I mentioned before, and we have proven track record in training thousands of professionals. We have upskilled many of them. And our programs are heavily subsidized, and we provide career advisory services to maximize your chances of getting a job. So I'll come to my last slide. So here are the key takeaways. So tech skills are in demand across all sectors. Okay, whether it's finance, healthcare, logistics, every sector needs tech talent. And SCTP offers a fast track to future-ready careers. Okay, and no matter your background, there is always a path for you in tech. Okay, remember the point I made. You do not need to know or learn coding to get a tech job, and embrace the future of work. So with that, I would like to thank and hand over to the next speaker, Mr. Gary. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Satya. Hi, for the interest of time, right? I understand that some of you have some questions in regards to the program. Can you make use of the Q&A section that to ask the questions? We will address all your questions at the end of the sessions because we are a bit short of time. So let me start sharing. I hope everybody can see my screen. So I'm going to talk about two job roles. One of the courses that we are providing, the SCTP program, will be desktop support engineer, as well as a cloud administrator. Okay. So can you imagine, if you wonder what kind of job role a desktop support engineer does, is when this thing happen. What happened when the workplace ICT system fail? For example, you cannot log in, you cannot use your printer, you need some access code or something happen, paper jam and things like that. This is exactly the scenario that some of the officers is experiencing. And even your office, sometimes you cannot log in, you can't do work for the whole day. So these are the role of the desktop support engineer is to support the end users. Okay, so the demand of the desktop support engineer is rising because of these three reasons. Because of COVID, a lot of company has started to practice work from home, which until today, some of the company still do that. And it doesn't, work from home today means probably Monday, Tuesday, you are at home, Wednesday to Friday, you are in office, that kind of thing. So it depends on the company arrangement, but definitely if there's workers that is working at home, they will definitely need some desktop support help because they need help to be remotely serviced. Let's say, for example, you can use Teams to see what exactly is wrong with the PC and things like that. Of course, the other factor that really matters is the industrial growth. There's a lot of digital transformation if you see in the last few years because of the emerging of AI, and there's a lot of reliance on tech compared to last time. Everything now you hold is a piece of technology, even your iPhone. iPhone is a piece of technology that holds all your apps that you are using, whether it's a social media app, it's a gaming app, even office email app, so everything is IT reliance, in a way whereby even some of the companies issue iPad, iPhone for them to take orders, for them to do different things, right? So with this, for the company issue items, this desktop support engineer are supposed to support as well. They are supposed to support all the endpoints that the end user is using. Of course, with the recent rise of all the cloud platform and everybody going online, there's also a risk of having cyber risk. There's also phishing email that's going around. You hear that there's scam going around whereby they call you and tell you they are calling from certain bank and things like that. If you are not careful with your security settings in the office, and these are the things that might creep in. You might also have ransom mail meaning to say if you click on the link accidentally, thinking that it's a legit email, they'll lock up your whole email system and you cannot work. Okay, so if it's one user, it's okay. Just imagine the whole organization. So the desktop support engineer roles is definitely important as of today. So this is some of the market insight as Cynthia had shared earlier. Some of the data actually shows the top skill demand in 2025 versus 2024. You can see number one position is still IT and data. Okay, so these two are the key focus area that we are looking at, and we are also helping to do some career transition with our program. So 83 employers out of 100 struggles to find skilled IT talent, up from the 78% in 2024. And of 88% of the IT sector's employers report difficulties in hiring skilled workers. And also 47.3% of the job vacancy were for newly created job roles. Okay, because of technology change, the job role also changed because you need to support different things. So there's a lot of evolutions, there are a lot of reskilling required. So this is from one of the IT service provider, Equinix. More than 87% of Singapore businesses are reskilling IT workers in response to the growing tech skill gap. It's true because we also help companies in reskilling their workers, in converting them to or upgrading them from role A to role B by adding in a few elements to support the change. So these are the potential laptop issues that the user will face. For example, slow performance, warning messages, overheating, no internet, crash application, security issues. So if you are the desktop support engineer, this is what you'll do. You help them to solve all these issues as a level 1 support, level 1 or level 2 support. So what does a desktop support engineer do? So basically, they are there to troubleshoot and all the hardware and software issue, provide user support, do system configurations, make sure that the network is up, maintaining all the documentation necessary to update the one that is on shift, implementing security measures, as well as training the end user to use certain software, to use your Office newly acquired software. So if you're looking, this job search is actually done on the 27th of May, which is yesterday. I did a preparation. So this is where I steal from my SkillsFuture. Okay, this is my career future, which is a WSG website. It shows there's 102 jobs. If you search for desktop support, it has done 102 jobs found. And if you look for IT support, there's 323 jobs found. And this is what I have done for JobsDB. It shows a bigger number. Okay, 271 for desktop, 10355 for IT support. Again, we also have some. Hold on, let me minimize this thing. Okay, for JobStreet, we have 100. IT support, we have 424. This is X-Monster, monster.com. Now is showing 115 for desktop and 289 for IT support. I would not say that all of these are unique individuals cases whereby it could be some overlap, but on the whole, there's still quite a lot of job opportunity for this role. So for the job search done on the 25th, some days earlier, this is the average salary. And this is the responsibility of the, this is taken from the job site. So whatever that is stated here is actually the job role, the JD required for this job. Okay, so these are just sample I extracted out from the site. And if you look at it, it's actually mainly provide IT technical on-site support for end user service problem, including identification, diagnosis, re-certification, re-rectification, and escalation. Okay, in charge of supporting desktop, notebook, printer, scanner, hardware components, basically anything that is connected to the end user. The end user is using, you are responsible for it. And it could be through a service call, or you can be there physically to help them service the faulty component or software. Okay. So there's if you look at all the job roles, they are mainly the same. And I have actually a solution to this is, why do you learn desktop support? Okay. So desktop support is a very entry role, but it is also a role that can provide you with a entry point as ICT professionals. If you are not trained in school academically, you are not trained as an IT pro, or you have been doing other trades right before IT. Okay, this is the beginner's role that is good for reskilling, and also is to convert yourself from non-IT to IT. Maybe you try out IT. So this is actually the role that is suitable for it, because it has every components that the person need to learn before they enter the market for IT support. Okay. So it's also a launch pad. Like what I say, it's a launch pad for diverse ICT career. Why I would say diverse is because ICT itself has many roles. Depending on the software, the kind of system they are supporting, they are named differently, and their JD will determine what kind of destination they have. And each of the company, they call the same thing different name, okay? Because of the change in JD. There's no standardization, but more or less it's about the same. 80 to 90% is about the same, but there's some differences, okay? Deviation. So in this course itself, SCTP Desktop Support Engineer, we have aligned to 6 international recognized certification. You can see here we have CompTIA A+, which is CompTIA versions of IT support, CompTIA Network Plus, ITIL4 Foundation, MD102, which is from Microsoft. And we have 2 Apple certification, which is Apple Certified IT Professionals and also Apple Certified Support Professionals. Okay. If you don't have any higher ICT degree or diploma, or even NTC, ITC, what you can do is you start acquiring those vendor certification as well as the CompTIA ones. Okay, CompTIA is established in 1982. They are responsible for creating courses aligned to the job role. So they are vendor neutral course provider that provides basically a course that cover all the different job role aspects. And they train the users, the learners, based on the topics, the things that they do normally as a desktop support engineer, as a network engineer. They design the course according to job role. So this is why we actually chosen CompTIA to create a foundation for you. And these CompTIA certifications are recognized. So for the foundational IT skills, it's about 10 days. We will cover CompTIA A+, plus Network Plus. And we have Microsoft Endpoint Administration, which is a 5 days course. This is talking about all the endpoints that is connected to the end user laptop, including Windows. We have the Apple device management, which cover Mac OS, iOS, iPad OS. Oops, sorry. Okay. Then we also cover ITIL4. This is if you are into IT, this is one of the certification that you must have. It's ITIL4 Foundation. How do you align your IT to support your business goal? Okay, so we have 4 days of soft skill. 1 cover creative thinking, 1 cover problem solving, and last of all, we have a capstone project to summarize the whole course. So the program duration is about 3.5 months, and the knowledge partner for this course is PeopleCert, which covers ITIL, Microsoft, and CompTIA. So these are the in-demand skills that you have required. After attending this course, you are exposed to IT support and networking. Okay, so this 2 is the main thing that you need to learn, because this 2 is actually the license for you to work in different IT department. If you do not know networking, you can't do IT at all. Okay, so in this course, you cover networking and troubleshooting. We cover operating system, which is very important. How do you set the IT directory? How do you do the rights for each of the users? Okay, and also some basic cloud computing and how do you do remote support, as well as customer service and problem solving, because In short, you need to understand, you need to know how to question the user on what is the problem with the laptop they are having or what issues they are having, okay? The program fee for this is $15,600. Okay, for different age group, as Santil has actually previously shared, there's a different category. For Singapore citizens and PR, individually sponsored participants between age 21 to 39, you pay $4,680 before GST. With GST is $5,101.20. Okay, for Singapore citizens 40 years and above, you pay 1,560, and the GST is 1,981.2. And for those who have special needs, you pay the 95%, then so-called the funding, cost funding, you'll pay 780 and $1,201.20. All these are available in credit card, interest-free payment, the SkillsFuture credit, as well as UTAP, as well as PSEA eligible. So in this course, the value add that we are throwing in is 2 times CompTIA exam, which covers the CompTIA A+ for Core 1 and Core 2 exam. CompTIA A+ has 2 exams, both exams we are covered, so it's costing about 265 per exam. So you need to take Core 1 and Core 2 exams separately, and the cost, and also we'll throw in the ITU4 foundation. Total, the exam itself worth about $1,372. Okay, so these are the value add that we add in for A+. So for career progression for desktop support, it actually really depends on where you want to go. Of course, if you master the skill well, you can go many, many different places. And for a start, you learn how to do desktop first. Then after that, you move to the specialist level, such as a system administrator or network engineer. As you work longer in ICT, you'll know where you are heading, because it also depends on which organization you are working for, what kind of project they have, what are the skill set you acquire along the way. Okay, so desktop support will definitely provide you with an entry point to ICT career. Next, I will share with you the cloud administrator. Okay, so for just now we are talking about the entry IT certification that you can acquire to become an ICT professional as a desktop support engineer or IT support engineer. Okay, there's many names. You can use IT support. You can also use desktop support. When you apply for the job, the time look at the JD, what they do. So for cloud itself, is a little bit more special. Cloud itself, as you know, there's a lot of things that is evolving in cloud. Cloud is a very cloud technology has been around for more than a decade, but recently you can see a lot of things is maturing. For example, you'll see AI. The use of AI is getting more and more, it's the hottest topic in town today. And all the AI platform was actually designed and built on cloud platform. Cloud platform is the one that initiated a lot of different new tech, emerging tech. The apps that you play every day on your phone is also a cloud tech. It's a part of the cloud technology. Everything that you have, all this machine learning, all the data analytics, or where all these things, where they gather from, is also from cloud. Okay, so for a start, global spend for cloud itself, cloud technology is going to surpass 700 billion in 2025 as hybrid adoption spread. Meaning to say some have in-house and also some things on cloud. So now most of the company now, to save costs, right, they are moving to cloud already because they don't really need the hardware. They only need laptop for the end user and some basic setup in the office. They can run cloud operations, okay, depending how big is your office. Of course, if you are DBS, you have your own innovations, all this, you need a data center. But for a smaller company, the the department have been shrunk and reskilled. All the job role has to be redesigned, okay, because of cloud. So you can see there's evidence of high spending for cloud in 2025. And the global market growth, you can see for the global end user cloud spending is projected to reach 723 billion in 2025, up from nearly 600 billion in 2024. It's a 21.5% jump. It's a very high jump, okay? So that will say that more and more companies are moving to cloud, and there will be more opportunity. So software as a service dominance, okay, spending on the software as a service is approaching 300 billion in 2025, rising from just 250 billion in 2024. The infrastructure growth and the platform services are the fastest growing segment, okay? And as anticipated over year, spending increased from 25% and 22% respectively. All these are from a rather good source from Ghana. So cloud watching. So cloud is actually becoming the IT itself. If you're talking about IT last time, you're talking about all the different server box, all the different router, all the different things, all the hardware. But now today in 2025, when you talk about IT, you are talking about cloud. Because cloud actually has been saving a lot of money and also for organization and also have created a lot of different opportunity for the corporate. Okay, enterprise spending on cloud infrastructures has totaled, like what I shared earlier, 270 billion. Global spending has also increased. Okay, 65% increased their cloud budgets, and 31% already steady in 2024 despite the economic uncertainties. 51% of IT spending will shift to cloud solutions from traditional IT tools, which is the boxes, by 2025. 29% of the IT budget is exclusively spending on cloud services and infrastructure. Okay, 75% of the tech leaders are building all new products and features based in cloud because it's the fastest way to innovate their product and it's the fastest way to get everything up and reach to the market. Okay, globally there are nearly 12 billion buyers of cloud infrastructure, and cloud adoption show no slowdown despite we have so much of economic uncertainty, right? But cloud adoption has it's not slowing down any. So cloud services provider has been aggressively talking to the government bodies, talking to the enterprises for them to adopt their solution. And a lot of companies actually has coming on board, and most of them are on multiple cloud to do different kind of services for the customers. Okay. So all in all, cloud is a very positive way moving forward in IT. So these are the cloud leaders. This is taken from Q4 2024, which is last year. So AWS lead the market they own about 1/3 of the market share, followed by a close second Azure, which is now 21%. So of course, AllHub also offer Google Cloud courses, Alibaba, and also Oracle. But moving forward for this SCTP cloud administrator, we only focus on the number 1 and number 2 player, which is AWS and Microsoft. We are the AWS Advanced Tier Training Partner, and we are also the Microsoft Learning Partner. Okay, so all the materials that we use in the course are using official courseware, the digital courseware, and as well as the lab. So you can see these are some of the data that we have managed together from Statista. Okay, the cloud computing drive, how cloud computing drive Microsoft growth. You can see demand quarter by quarter, they are Q on Q, they are actually increasing. Their revenue are going up. And the best part is, if you look on the chart on the right side, right, the biggest data center markets in the world are all listed here. Okay, you can see Singapore coming at 4th. Okay, despite a small country, we also have the biggest data center in the market. Okay, so the role of the cloud administrator I simplified in the 6-pointer. First of all is to the provisioning and configuring cloud resources. Okay, monitoring the performance and availability of the cloud, troubleshoot the issues between the cloud infrastructure. Okay, ensuring cloud security and compliance. Anything with IT has to do with compliance. So this is nothing special, but this is something a cloud administrator must do. Okay, optimizing the cloud resources. Okay, how do you make sure that whatever amount of money the company pays every month is to have the required services supplied to you? Is it enough? Is it at the optimum level? So these are the settings determined by the cloud administrator. Because as our cloud is such a good platform to work with for new collaborations, right? As in terms of new inventions, new innovations, you have a lot of opportunities to work with other IT professionals. Oops, sorry. Okay, so let me turn off the hands first. Okay, the traditional cloud roles are, if you go for a cloud administrator course, right? After you finish, you pass all the exam, okay, the required exam, you can actually apply for some roles. But when you apply for a job, the time you just don't look for a cloud administrator. Look at the JD and determine what kind of skill set is required. First, the traditional cloud roles will be cloud administrator, okay, cloud support associate, cloud operations engineer, system administrator, desktop associate, okay, or probably junior DevOps engineer. But you see those highlighted areas are the additional skills that you need to add on in order to go for this job role, okay? Some of them has actually joined as an IT infra engineer, okay, like for cloud migration project and things like that. They also have gotten job for technical support engineer. Some has gotten their part as a junior cloud solution architect. Of course, so if you are going to want to join the emerging side, right, you can actually join as a cloud security analyst, cloud DevOps engineer, and so forth. But on top of your current skill set, whatever that you learn here, you need to have other skills that add on to fit into the JD for that particular role. Okay, it could be you can spend additional money to upgrade or what, depending on you. Okay, the company sometimes might send you for the training also. So the salary range for account administrator, to be honest, is about 73 to 95,000. It could be more depending on your other skill sets. Okay. So this figure can vary depending on the size of the company, the JD itself, the specific cloud platform used, and the level of responsibility and expertise required for the role. You can see that, how come this company, the cloud administrator is only $4,000? How come company B, the cloud administrator is $8,000? It depends on what is covered. Although they are all cloud administrator, the JD is different, the skill is different. Okay. Additionally, the cloud administrator with more years of experience will naturally have may command a little bit more premium. Okay. So it also depends on your education, your skill set level, and what kind of organization you have actually worked before. So it's a lot of on your resume writing also. Okay. Hold on. Okay, the prerequisite for SCTP cloud administrator course is they must be Singapore citizens, PR, or long-term visit pass holder, okay, age 21 years and above, committed to complete the program. They must be at least 21 years old with minimum diploma in STEM, science, technology, engineering, or math, with 1 to 2 years relevant working experience. What is relevant working experience? You must work in the ICT position before. For example, network administrator, desktop support engineer, IT support officer, that kind of role. Okay, we will only accept people with experience in this role because this course is a little bit faster because we assume that you already have all your ICT foundation. Hold on. So this is the halfway. We start with Computer Network Plus, followed by Linux Plus, which is a server administration course, followed by a general IT security course, including cybersecurity, cloud security, network security. Then we follow up with the three specialty courses from AWS. It's AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials, Architecting on AWS, and also Cloud Operations on AWS. And followed by Microsoft Azure Fundamental and Azure Administrator. Then, of course, followed by 2 soft skills and a 10 days capstone project. All in all, the total duration for the course is 40.5 days with 324 training hours. So the value add that we put in this will be even more. First of all, I will cover you 3 exams with the one that you see on the screen. Number 1, number 2, number 3. One for architecting on AWS that is aligned to AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate. Number 2 is Cloud Operations on AWS, aligned to AWS Certified SysOps Administrator Associate. And number 3 is the Microsoft Azure Administrator, course, the exam itself. And one new thing that I throw in is the AWS Skill Builder. Let me spend 1 minute to talk about this. AWS Skill Builder is a official AWS platform that contains all AWS courses inside available in the market today. That's including the digital kit as well as the labs corresponding to the learning materials inside. Basically, after you have finished the exam 1, exam 2, right, which is architecting and cloud operations, you can actually use the skill builder for exam prep for this 1 and 2. And after the 1 and 2 you finish, right, you can also prep for other things like developing on AWS, machine learning or whatever they have inside here. They have the whole library here and all the labs are there. What you need to do is you buy additional exam voucher from us. You can go and take the exam on your own. Okay, so the certification itself is already covered. As in whatever course you need after all this, right? You can still learn inside this AWS Skill Builder. And this Skill Builder is about 12 months access. After that, if you want to carry on, you have to pay about 449 USD for 1 year subscription. So the decision up to you if whether you want to extend. Okay. So the full cost fee for this course is $19,600. Okay. For Singapore citizens and permanent residents aged 21 years and above is $5,880. For Singapore citizens aged 40 years and above is $1,960. And for Singapore citizens eligible for additional funding support, right, is $980. Okay. Okay. So with that, I'll pass to the next speaker, which is James. James, can you take over?
Yes, hi. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks.
Okay, I hope you all can see the screen. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is James, and I will walk you guys through the Cybersecurity Associate with Capstone project. So this is a quick snapshot of the top cyber attacks last year. Here you see globally on a global scale, there are actually 8. But in Singapore, the top 2 cyber attacks will be ransomware and phishing attack. So just this year in January 2025, one of Singapore's largest construction firms suffered a ransomware attack. 2 terabytes of data was stolen, operations was disrupted, and the brand reputation is at risk. In another incident, a leading digital asset platform based in Singapore suffered a cyber attack with multi-million stolen from the wallets. Operations continued, but the financial and reputational impact was undeniable. So why I shared these 2 cyber attack cases? Because even Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore and Singapore has also reported more attacks that's happening, although we are quite resilient in terms of our country versus the other countries. We are quite safe, but then we still need to continue to improve. And this is the latest report from the World Economic Forum, Global Cybersecurity Outlook 2025. And you see there are various factors that affects cybersecurity, right? So the first one is geopolitical tensions. So between countries to countries, there are bank transfers, there are money transfers, a lot of digital payments is being done. So when there is a cyber attack, just on the finance aspect, that becomes a problem, right? And in terms of cybercrime sophistication, today you hear about AI, artificial intelligence. You hear about voice over using AI. So these are just some of the latest attacks that hackers are using, incorporating AI. Supply chain interdependencies. If let's say you buy something from Lazada or Shopee or Taobao, right? What happens across the different intermediaries from the factory all the way to the end user. So there are multiple layers of transactions. and what happens when an attack happens in one of these transactions. Now, regulatory requirements in Singapore mainly will be on the Cyber Act, Cybersecurity Act, the Personal Data Protection Act, right? There are also new acts that are coming in from CSA, right? So CSA today is very focused on AI security, on cloud security, on IoT security. And as AI continues to transform industries, it also introduces new cyber challenges. What is the impact of AI on cybersecurity? How do we address cybersecurity risks and ethical concerns? What are the best practices for secure AI implementation? Therefore, in a nutshell, there is a cyber skills gap, and the demand in Singapore for technical cyber job roles, it's a handful. It's quite a lot, right? It's a lot. So artificial intelligence and machine learning are pivotal. A lot of companies are implementing AI ML systems within their organizations, and of course, using AI. How do you use AI to defend, or how do you defend against AI attack? These are just some questions surrounding cyber skills and knowledge with AI. And just last year in the manpower of MOM, right? In the MOM shortage occupation list, they list out the key cyber job roles that are in demand, but we don't have enough supply. So some of the technical cyber job roles will be like your pen testers, your SOC operations, incident responders, forensics, and the security engineer. So this is also just wanted to touch on this slide, and it shows the skills pathway for cybersecurity. And today we focus pretty much on the technical aspect of cybersecurity. So we have 5 key domains: VAPT, security operations or SOC, forensics and incident response, threat analysis, and last but not least will be the security engineer. So for this SCTP program, is the SCTP Cybersecurity Associate with Capstone Project. We will ground you up with the modules that will allow you to pivot into 5 different job roles that you see here. And apart from just technical hands-on labs that will be included in this SCTP program, there will also be certification courses where you can actually go on to take certification exams and be certified. So today in Singapore, of all the technical cyber domains, these are just some of the certificates that the employers today are looking for. So for example, if you are wanting to go into penetration testing, then EC Council CEH, the CREST CRT, the Offset OSCP is important certificate to have. If you're going into security operations, then for example, CSA is important, CHFI is important, right? And the list goes on. So the good news is that in our Cybersecurity Associate program, we have 2 certification courses, the CompTIA Security Plus and the EC Council Certified Ethical Hacker, which is included and recognized as part of the skills pathway for cybersecurity. And if you look at the 14 employers on the slide, we have CSA, DSTA, GIC GovTech, HTX, NCS. These are the employers that pledge their acknowledgement of this cybersecurity framework in Singapore. So the SCTP Cybersecurity Associate with Capstone Project, this is the pathway. We will start off with foundational IT and systems, touching on practical hands-on in terms of hardware and software for IT fundamentals. We'll touch on networking, network security, and then we'll move on to the security domains and covering Linux. And then we'll also move on to the cybersecurity basics and advanced concepts. So things like identity and access management, which is a very important skill set to have in almost all companies. The EC Council Certified Ethical Hacker, CEH, and the EC Council Certified SOC Analyst, right? And then, of course, we have one soft skill, which is the generate insights and propose solution. And last but not least will be a capstone project. So the capstone project will encapsulate what you have learned in the prior modules, and there will be basically two projects that you work on. One is SOC, where you'll be put on a real life real life scenario. The other one is pen test, right? So this program actually allows you to gain certificates such as the CompTIA, Security Plus, Linux Plus, and the EC Council SOC Analyst and the EC Council Certified Ethical Hacker. So the good news is that for this program, we will have the exam vouchers issued to you for CSA and CEH. Now, I just want to touch on the CEH. The Certified Ethical Hacker, that the module that we will introduce is the version 13, which is the latest, and it comes with AI. So you'll notice that vis-a-vis version 12, you will learn new things like AI-driven ethical hacking, zero trust architecture, ransomware attacks, AI and machine learning, deepfake threats, XDR, right, as well as cryptography. So in the CH, there will be two exams. One is the standard theory exam, which is the ANSI exam. The second one is the practical exam. So if you pass both exams, you will gain a CH Master, which is a dual certification recognized by employers. And today, of course, with the evolution of AI, more jobs are available, and especially when employers need you to be well-versed in AI, both skills and knowledge, right? So all in all, there are additional roles up to 49 that you can pivot to in this program. And these are just some of the job roles for this program that you can pivot to. When we look at the companies that are hiring for cybersecurity in Singapore, it's almost quite widespread, right? Well spread across the key financial sectors, the banks, key government agencies, the technology companies, the likes of TikTok, Google, they hire cybersecurity professionals, as well as the different verticals like automobile and the retail. They do require cyber talent. So the salary range for cybersecurity jobs in Singapore ranges from 50K all the way to 120K, depending on the job role, depending on the level. So I just want to share, we have a success story. Mr. Aru, who actually took up our SCTP Cybersecurity Associate, and he was retrenched. But through this SCTP program, he managed to reskill himself and secure a cyber job in the aviation industry. So the program prerequisites will cover, in terms of program prerequisites, minimally we are looking at diploma in IT or computer science, and 1 to 2 years of relevant IT experience. So if you are currently a system analyst, you're a network engineer, or anything related to network security, this is something, and you feel that you want to pivot into cybersecurity, right? And be more hands-on. This will be the program for you. Of course, the prerequisite is not cards and stone. We do look into, if let's say you have a diploma in engineering, but you have like maybe 5 to 10 years of experience as a cybersecurity in pen testing or in SOC, then we can also look at your background and have an interview with you. So in terms of the cybersecurity associate program, this is the program fee. It's 15,850 before GST. And if you are age 40 and above, the payable is 1727.65, which you can offset with your SkillsFuture credit. So I've come to my last slide. I'd like to hand over to the next speaker.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you so much, James. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll share my slides. Okay, can you all see my slides? Is it visible, James? All good?
Yep. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so once again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for still staying behind. And for my part, I'll be covering one of our in-demand program called Associate Data Analysts. My name is Josen. I'm the product manager for this program. Now, before we go down to the best part of this training program, let me answer the question that you probably have on your mind as well. Like, what is data analytics? Okay, data analytics, in a nutshell, it's a process of retrieving large amounts of data. So we're actually talking about huge amount of data, really huge. So processing that data in a way that it's so intelligent that people can use it for decision making. Now, it's a pretty straightforward definition, but I want to point out a very important key statement in here. The one that says informed decision making. It drives informed decision making. Now, this is something very important because you can imagine a world without data analytics. Then a company would have to rely on intuition rather than facts to make decisions, right? Which is pretty bad because that can lead into inefficiencies and poor choices because everything is based off guesswork. And if you want to imagine the impact of that in a business context, then imagine a company that has failed to recognize or understand the real needs of their customers, resulting to customer dissatisfactions and massive number of complaints. And that is bad, right? Again, if there's someone working for a company that deals with delivering services to customers or selling products to customers, that's pretty bad. Your company will go bankrupt. So in that scenario alone, you will see the importance of data analytics, which is massively so important, especially in the context of a large organization, even the small ones. So now, what do we have in our training program? So we have designed our training program in a way that it will address some of the issues and the barriers that affects the effective use of data analytics. As an example, in our training program, we will be focusing in teaching you, delivering the benefits and the reason why organization would do data analytics so that you can go ahead and apply them right away into your organization. And then some of the barriers that companies have mentioned about data analytics. So they have mentioned something about security. So in our training program, we have training modules that will teach you the best security practices, especially if you have to deal with large data sets, like how to secure your data, how to apply governance into a data, how to provision data sources. And mind you, data sources are something very important because without data sources, then there's nothing to analyze. And then company also mentioned about limited access to data source. So we have a training module that will give you much more exposure to data sources. We'll be covering different types of data sources, including simple data sources and large data sources, more complicated ones like Microsoft SQL Server, and then including those data sources hosted over a cloud. So my colleague has mentioned that cloud is, many companies is now going towards the cloud, and to be an effective data analyst is to know how cloud computing actually works in modeling, all right? And then the tools that we're going to use. I am a developer myself. I do data analytics. And in the past, back in the old days, the kind of tools that we're using are very complex to use. Like you have to have years of programming experience just to build even a simple data analytic model. You have to have programming background because you would type in massive number of codes to build your data analytic model. Okay, but things have changed in today's technology, especially with the advent of artificial intelligence. Now we have tools that are more aligned to the skill sets of an end user. Like as an end user, you'll be able to use these tools without doing any coding. So as an example, if you want to build even a complex data analytic model, all you would have to do is to drag and drop certain icons, drag and drop certain tiles into a wonderful designer, and then click into a button. Then you're done with the whole thing. It's that easy. And these are the kinds of tools that we're using in our training program. So you will see the likes of Power BI and Microsoft Excel. throughout our training module. And then I want to point out the increase in revenue. Obviously, this is the effects of data analytics. It has to go without saying that a company would have an increased revenue since a company would have greater visibility on what's going on with their business. So obviously that would result into increased revenue. Also, I want to point out this data footprint. Now, if you don't know what this is, data footprint pertains to the amount of data we're collecting as a human being as a result of human beings, us, interacting with smart devices or interacting with applications, using applications. And that's what you can see here, right, in this slide. The amount of data we have collected is way too massive. We are talking about in terms of zettabyte. Zettabytes for info is actually 1 billion of a trillion. It's pretty massive. It's unimaginably so big. But then again, what I want to point out is this. Despite this information being so big, okay, despite this data being so big, it's going to be useless and pointless without data analytics because we will not be able to extract any meaningful information out of it. So all in all, this is showing you again, once again, how important data analytics is. Footprints, increased revenue, and addressing all the barriers. All right, and then there's so many tangible benefits into being a data analyst that you'll find data analytics or data analysts as not being a separate role anymore. Okay, data analytics is something embedded into every workflows nowadays. So it doesn't matter if you're working as a nurse. It doesn't matter if you're working as a product manager. One way or another, you will do some form of data analytics. The fact that, for example, you're using Microsoft Excel, you are doing data analytics because there are so many tangible benefits into it. Yeah, as an example, with data analytics, you'll be more proactive with your business operation because you will have greater visibility of what's going on with your business. You'll be able to identify the problem before they occur and therefore do something about them. Yeah, with data analytics, you'll be able to, because of data insights, you'll be able to find out your real customer base. And therefore, you'll be able to sell the right products to your real customer base. You'll be able to launch marketing campaigns that is more relevant to your customer base. So there's so many tangible benefits into it. All right, and then, yeah, so when it comes to monetary benefit, you will see here that even a junior data analyst, so we're not yet talking about senior data analysts, but according to plenty of job sites, even a junior data analyst can actually command a salary of $6,000 being a junior data analyst. So if you walk down to the senior data analysts, then you can command a salary of $100,000 according to many job sites. And there's a talent gap as well. According to Microsoft's 10,000 jobs in the next decade will be unfilled. So there's a big demands in data analytics and there's a huge gap as well. All right, and then, yeah, when it comes to different segments of data analytics, again, there are so many segments into data analytics, but we can break down these segments into 4 different parts. And one of the good things about our training program is that we actually cover all of these segments. We don't just focus in one particular segment, so we cover all of them. So for you guys, this is like climbing up the ladder, I would say. You'll be starting off from the most basic, going up to the most advanced. So again, just to walk you through into each of these analytics quickly. So we have the first segment called descriptive analytics. So this kind of analytics deals with the question, what happened? So if you want to understand the current state of your business, let's say, what is my revenue? What is our current revenue? How do we stack up with other competitors? So this analytics will give you all of those information, the current state of your business. The next state deals with why it happened. So as an example, say you have a low revenue. So what is wrong? Why do we have a low revenue? Is it because we're not targeting the right customer base? We're not selling the right products to our customers? So this kind of analytics will give you all of those data insights. And then we have the next one called predictive analytics, which is pretty wonderful. Now, imagine an application, imagine a model that can tell you future outcome. Say, for example, you're working as a sales executive, account executive. Then you want to find out what's going to be the most sellable products in the next 6 months. So this kind of data analytics will give you that kind of data insights. So this is a good way to, once again, sell the right products to your customers in the next 6 months. And this kind of data analytics is pretty advanced. To make it possible, as a data analyst, you would have to combine your model with machine learning algorithms that can detect patterns or run simulations against historical data. So this kind of analytics is pretty advanced. That is why in our training program, you will not just learn how to do modeling, you will also learn how to tap on artificial intelligence, which is the key element of our training program, and different types of machine learning algorithm. All right. And then we have the next one called prescriptive analytics. So once again, another advanced data analytics that gives you the best possible course of action. So for example, say this is what you have. This is the problem that you're having. This is the problem that you're having. So what's the best possible course of action to fix, to sort out those issues? So this analytics will tell you all of those data insights. Maybe what's lacking, maybe the reason why you have low revenue is because you have to increase or you have a lower marketing budget, or because maybe you were not really targeting the right demographics of your users. So this kind of analytics, once again, combine artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms to perform neural networks. So we call that neural networking algorithm, which is another advanced space in data analytics. And the good thing with our training program is that you're going to learn all of these data segments. Not one, but all of these segments. So as mentioned before, this is like you climbing up the ladder. You'll be starting up from the most basic, going up to the most advanced. You are now looking into our pathway. So we have designed the pathway in a way that it will turn you from 0 to hero. So meaning you will be a non-data analyst into an enterprise data analyst. So this is how we have designed our program. You don't have to have any programming background. You don't have to be an existing data analyst to go down to this program, because we'll be starting off with the most basic, like what is data analytics. So for the first module, we have CompTIA Data Plus. If you don't know what CompTIA courses are something that we have that's more aligned into non-IT professionals. Okay, as long as you know how to use your PC, as long as you know how to use the mouse, the keyboard, if you can use Microsoft Office Excel with some degree of proficiency, it's going to be a big, big bonus when you go down to our training program. So we'll be starting off with Data Plus, which will give you the basic foundation of data analytics, from connecting to multiple data sources up to, we call that ETL, building the ETL pipeline, extract, transform, load operation, up to the concept of presenting your data into a visual. Okay, so that we can give it into the hands of the end users in a very user-friendly manner. So you will learn how to use charts. For example, you will learn how to use KPIs, when to use matrix to analyze multiple matrix of data, right? So once you have learned the basics of data analytics, it's time to implement what you have learned using actual tools that we're using for data analytics. We'll be starting off with Microsoft Excel. Why Microsoft Excel? Because Microsoft Excel is your first line of tool for data analytics. So we have 2 modules covering that. We'll be covering the basics of Microsoft Excel up to macro programming, so you can start doing automation. And then in the next module, Transact SQL, this is the start of your journey into coding. So we'll do a bit of coding. So not too much advanced coding, but coding on the level of data analytics, which is not that complex, not that very hard to do. We will not be asking you to build a web application. We will not be asking you to, say, build a mobile application. So these are the kind of coding expected to end user level. So we have TSQL. It's a programming language that we're using for data analytics, and when connecting to multiple data sources. So the reason why you have to learn TSQL, because TSQL is a programming language that is compatible with any data sources. So it doesn't matter what kind of data sources you are dealing with. If you want to extract data out of these data sources, you can use TSQL to pull that off, to do all of those things. And then, of course, we have Power BI. This is what I've been telling you about. This wonderful visual where you can do pretty much everything without doing any coding. So this is what Power BI actually offers. You can, once again, right? You can do the full end-to-end modeling using Power BI, connecting to multiple data sources. Once you have connected to multiple data sources, joining multiple tables together, so you can form what we call a relationship, where you have child table, you have parent table. You can also clean up your data, removing duplicates, remove data duplicates, merge data that you think are relevant to one another. In the past, you would have to do all these things with complex coding. But with Power BI, you don't have to. Click of a button and you were done with the whole thing. So in the next module, we will take you to the use of Python. Okay, so I thought we can do pretty much everything without doing any coding. So now why do we have to do coding using Python? Because at a certain point, you're going to reach a threshold, meaning you're going to reach a limit using these GUI tools, especially if you want to tap on the more advanced data analytic model. There's a limit to what GUI tools can do. So this is where programming comes into play. But we're going to use Python to make everything a lot easier, because with Python, first of all, Python is not that difficult to use. It is actually meant for end users to use. And it also has a lot of built-in algorithms. It has a lot of built-in functionalities. So all you have to do is to find out exactly what you need. For example, say I want to have a model that can do prediction. So if you know what you need, you just pick it up. You just pick up the right algorithms from Python and then plug it in on your model without doing any coding. So you don't have to build the codes from scratch. You don't have to so-called reinvent the wheel. We have all that as a built-in components of Python. So we call that application programming interfaces. The next we have two of the Python modules in the training program. And then talking about Gen AI, talking about AI. So in the next module, we will take you into using Gen AI, but not replace data analysts. I have to mention that because you probably heard some people saying that we don't need data analysts anymore because we have ChatGPT tool, because ChatGPT can generate everything. That is not true. Even though ChatGPT can do some form of data analytics, but you still need the skill sets of a real human being, a real data analyst, to bring all this model together, combine them into something that is useful, make them functional. So ChatGPT cannot do that on its own. So in this module, we're going to use different types of Gen AI tools, not just ChatGPT, to make our lives a lot easier when dealing with building the models. So we don't have to type those massive number of codes manually. And then we have the next module called PDPA that will give you the best practices in applying security into large data sets. And then, of course, we have the Capstone project. This is wonderful because in the Capstone project, what we will take you is to combine all the technologies you have learned from all the modules and then use them to build something that is real. Something that's real on the enterprise level kind of data analytics, okay? So you will combine what you have learned, Power BI, Microsoft Excel, Python programming with touch of the SQL. You will get data from the cloud as well, then build something that is real in the enterprise level, right? And then, yeah, I'm on to my final set of modules. Okay, the good news is that we have aligned 4 of our modules into globally recognized certifications. So our certifications are, as mentioned, recognized by Microsoft. These are sanctioned by Microsoft and Python Institute. And we are bundling the examination vouchers as part of our training program. It's all included in our training program as well. So you will see here that we have Microsoft. So we have certification from Microsoft for associate data analysts and Power BI data analysts. We also have certification for Python. Right? Yeah, when it comes to our modular fee, yeah, that's one of the good things about funding. Instead of paying this much, you only have to pay that much. Again, because of the funding. All right. I'm done with my presentation. I will hand it over to Puzi. Thank you.
Thank you, Josan. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for staying by. Right, let me just share the screen. Okay, let me put it on my full screen mode. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying behind for the last two sections of this webinar today. So I'm just going to go in straight into sharing you with this nice photo. So if you can see, this is actually not an AI generated photo. It's actually a real photo of a bridge in Honduras. So I give you a few seconds to think what really happened. Why is this bridge on land instead of between a river? So the answer is actually there was actually a hurricane that actually swept and changed the course of the river. So this is a real hurricane that happened in 2011. So it's a huge hurricane that happened in Honduras. It actually takes about 11,000 lives. So it was a very devastating hurricane. And part of the consequences of that hurricane was to actually make this bridge useless. It stands as it is today, but it became useless because of the change of the river water to the other side of the bridge. So what lesson can we learn from this? Very simple, is that you need to build something which is agile, which you can adapt to the reality that changes all the time. So build to adapt, not build to last. I give you another example. I'm sure you guys might have heard of Pokim videos. So at their heydays, they used to have about 38 stores all around Singapore. So you know you can go to their stores, borrow their DVD or buy their DVD and then play it at the comfort of your home. But then came on-demand streaming. So that actually was a moment that actually disrupted the business for Pokim. But Netflix adapted. They were agile enough to adapt and change their business. So as you might not be aware, actually Netflix was started by a school teacher, and they actually started their business of also renting out and selling cheap movies. So they were selling at one time $1 per movie, and they will be like sending it to you directly to your home. But when on-demand streaming emerged, Netflix adapt, but Pokim did not adapt. So you can see Pokim is almost no longer in existence in Singapore. So the agile lesson that I would like you to learn is you must build something for change, not for permanence, because in life, in reality, things change and you have to be agile to adapt to the different changes. So these are the companies that has the same fate as Pokim. And one particular company, which is Kodak, is of particular interest because Kodak actually, one of their staff in 1975 actually invented the digital camera. So as you know, Kodak is famous for its film camera, and where you can click and then it drop from the camera, and then you within 1 or 2 minutes, the real picture will appear on the film. But in 1975, one of the engineers, I think by the name of Steve Sasson, invented digital camera. But instead of adapting it, instead of changing their business, they decided to push it aside. And then because they were worried they would cannibalize into their business. So in the end, companies like Canon, Minolta adopted to digital camera and take away their business. So eventually in 2012, they filed for bankruptcy. So it's important for companies to stay agile and adopt what they call an agile mindset, that new technology will come in and disrupt your business. So this is where I was talking about adapting technology to stay competitive in a digital world. So you can see that a lot of companies, I give you an example, our local banks in Singapore like DBS Bank, OCBC banks, they are actually technology company offering banking and finance services. So now you can do your banking and finance services at the comfort of your home using your mobile phone or your internet without needing to move yourself and then go to their branch itself. So that's an example of how technology is changing a business. I give you another example. OCBC recently transformed their mortgage insurance business and moved it digital. And within the first few weeks of them moving the mortgage insurance into a digital business where you can actually subscribe to it online, they increased the subscription for their mortgage in the business by about 500%. So that's one example of how adapting to technology can actually help you stay competitive. And most of companies that do digital transformation, they actually adopt Agile. Okay, so from this example, you can see that 61% of companies actually adopt Agile methodology to actually do digital transformation in the organization to help them stay competitive. So it's important for you to understand a little bit about the concept of Agile and waterfall methodology. So in the traditional way, most organizations project manage using what they call the waterfall methodology, which is a traditional way of managing a project. So in this type of managing a project, it is done sequentially, step by step. You can't skip any of the process. So what happened is that what you actually wanted to design for the user needs of the customer might not be actually the end product that you will deliver. So as you can see, that the end product is different than what the customer need. But by adopting Agile, where you start small, you refine, and you improve continuously, you can actually design a product that will be actually what the user need in the market. So this is a different approach towards project management where you adopt Agile as a new methodology in managing project. The other thing why Agile has become a very popular standard in managing project is because of three things. Number one is because it's an iterative way of working, and they do a lot of collaboration with the different stakeholders, and it is also what they call customer-centric. So as a result, companies who adopt Agile in project management actually achieve 37% faster project delivery times and also increase 29% of employee satisfaction. So that's probably the reason why project managers are so highly in demand, is because companies are addressing the need to keep on adapting to new technology to make sure that they remain relevant and competitive in the business. I'll give you one statistics that we found from the Project Management Institute. So they actually did a survey in which they figure out that by 2030, they will need 25 million new project managers. So on average, they need 2.3 million new project manager every year. Why? Because of three factors. One, three demand drivers. So number one, project management skills has become one of the most in-demand skill set in an employee. So some studies highlighted it as the number 4 most in-demand skills that a worker need to have. Another reason would be the demand for a project manager globally. As you can see from the previous stats, they need 2.3 million project managers every year. And last but not least, the rate of retirement. As population becoming older, they need new people to come in and take over from the previous. Next, let me look through what are the most in-demand jobs in LinkedIn. So if you look at LinkedIn consistently for the past 4 to 5 quarters, project manager has been the top 5 most in-demand job role in Singapore. So in fact, in Q1 2025, it jumped one notch higher from number 5 to number 4 in terms of most in-demand job role in 2025. And if you go to LinkedIn or if you go to JobStreet, there are plenty of jobs available looking for project managers. In terms of salary, it is also a very rewarding career. So from another earning power report by Project Management, the average annualized salary of a project manager in Singapore is between 70,000 to 137,000. And of course, it's based on your experience and seniority. And if you look at another website called Indeed, the average salary is close to what the earning power is reporting, between 67,000 per annum and 126,000 per annum for a senior project manager. So it is indeed a rewarding career. And I draw with you another survey from McKinsey about people who actually wanted to move or change career. So this was a survey conducted in 2022, and they find out that if you look at Singapore, almost 50% of workers say that they might leave their jobs in the near future. So people are constantly trying to find the most in-demand job that give the best and highest reward to them. A little bit about this program. So this program is designed for beginners, and it comes with what we call industry certification. And also for beginners, we do a lot of scaffolding. So it also has some practical application in your capstone project, where you can apply some of the things that you have learned during class itself. And this is an overview of the courses, modules that you'll be taking, total of 13 modules. You do one course on software development lifecycle, 3 courses under Agile and project management, and then 1 course under vendor management, because you'll be dealing with a lot of stakeholders, including vendors. You do 1 collaborative project management tools with Microsoft Project. And part of the function of a project manager is actually to make use of data and analyze, visualize it, and also make informed decision based on those data. So you would do 2 data analytics courses, one using Excel and the other one using Power BI. You will do 1 course under IT service management, 1 course on DevOps. So DevOps stands for development and operations, where you will actually learn to collaborative work between the development team and the operation team in terms of automating some of the job roles and functions. And the other thing is that you will do 2 soft skills. And last but not least, you do a capstone project for 6 days, in which you will use whatever knowledge you have learned from the previous module and apply it into the capstone itself. So these are the content and certification partners that we work with, including Project Management Institute, which actually has been one of the most reputable institution for project management. You do with Scrum Alliance, Microsoft, and the likes. And you are also able to align to 6 globally recognized certification, of which 4, the exam fee is already included in the course fee. But for PMP and Power BI, the exam fee is not included. So at the end of the course, if you complete all the modules, achieve 75% attendance, pass all the assessment, you will get the certificate of completion for each of the modules, and also the final certificate of completion of this course itself. And if you attempt the exam, you'll be able to get this internationally recognized certification to help you in your job search. So you might ask, why is industry certification important? So it is basically for 3 main reasons. Is that industry certification actually validate your skills. So employer will use that as a validation tool to know whether you suit the role as a project manager. So for this course, if they see your credential with a PMP certification, with a CSM, Certified Scrum Masters, with a Leading Safe, IT Foundation, and DevOps Leader, that is actually a validation of the skill set necessary for you to become a good IT project manager. Next, it is also globally recognized around the world, not only in Singapore. and it also helps in your career advancements. In terms of admission requirement, you need to have minimum a diploma in any fields, preferably 2 years experience in project management, and you need to be 21 years and above, Singaporean or permanent resident. So this is the course fee. As some of my colleagues mentioned, the course fee comes with between 70 to 90% funding, depending on your age group. And for those who receive some form of government funding or government support, you can receive up to 95%. So to know more about these funding opportunities, you can speak to any of our course consultant, or you can also scan this QR code and talk to some of them. All right, so I've come to the end of my presentation today. I'll hand over to my colleague, Mr. Edmund, to share and start his own presentation.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Puzi. Just allow me to share my slides, if you can see my slides. Yeah, okay. So thank you once again and staying throughout to this is our last session, our last program. I'm the product manager for taking the full stack developer program. Let me just quickly go through the slides quickly. Next slide, please. Thanks. Okay, so what do the front-end developers do? Actually, front-end developer is a type of software engineer. They possess all the expertise of doing the front and the back of the development of the software. Of course, they are more holding in the responsibility of doing the web and mobile development of the software application. Their main purpose to make it more efficient, reliable, and scalable. But upon this, they also do the design and developing of the application as well. One of the most programming languages they use is Java. It's one of the most prevalent languages that's used in all over the enterprise application development. Okay, next. So as you can see, a bit of light-hearted humor of what are the common activities of what software full stack developers do. Okay, on the launch day, probably on the left side, the CEO will launch the software management, and all the back-end people and also front-end will do the testing of the software to be launched on the website or the mobile apps, and mostly catching all bugs I can see. So a lot of things activities are happening at the back-end as well. Of course, upon that, there will be also fixing and compiling errors. And you want your software and mobile to run smoothly, right? Without having some pop-up message when you're using your app. When you want to find bus directions or Google, and suddenly you have this pop-up message says there's an error. So we face that from a day-to-day what I call errors in anything you do. And of course, full stack developers, you seem to be wearing two hats. Where it says that front end is more about just HTML doing CSS, back end is doing maintaining database. So there are a lot of funny things like you need to do more work and stuff like that lah. So you're basically wearing two hats, front and back. Next. So the applications on the web and mobile are plenty. Full stack developers are involved in many of the applications that you see today on your web applications, where you see surfing on Facebook, YouTube, or your Taobao, or your Xiaohongshu, or your Zalora, or maybe in the government websites that you apply for services. Everything. Full stack developers are involved in so many aspects of the things that you do. Yeah. The pictures that you see here are what you're exposed to every day, every now and then. Even for the mobile phone that you have, or your WhatsApp that you do this. Yeah, full stack developers are involved in that aspect as well. All right. So of course, there's a difference between the full stack developers, the front and the back end. You might ask, what's the difference anyway? So the front end developer, right, they deal with more of the web and mobile applications. They use software like HTML programming, CSS, and JavaScript to make sure that things are more reactive and more of the users who can press and interact with all of the pictures and all the buttons, everything. And all your requests will be done and received by the back end, if you see here. That's where the back end developer do lah. So they work with Python, JavaScript, and PHP programming to feed database information to and fro so that your requests get accepted and the information gets shared upon there and there. Okay, so full stack developer is the combination marriage of front end and back end, all right, together, all right, merged together. So that's why it's called full stack developer. Okay, next. So the data flow for the software terms, right? So you can see how the data actually works. So if you are the user, whether you are using your laptop or desktop or your tablet or your mobile phone, so you send requests, you tap or you type a lot of things on your computer, right? So you send a lot of requests, right? Or whatever information, it goes to the back end of the server. And the server always, we have to query and fetch a lot of the information from the back end. There's the database. So you can see a lot of information is exchanging during the server as like that stores all information. Probably you want to extract your CPF information, for example. So a lot of information is being queried out to the back end web server and then pass it to the front end where you can display on your mobile phone or on the laptop itself. So that's how the data flow works in the software terms, right? Of course, there are a lot of tools that are being used as listed there for the different various categories. So for the modern full stack developer, as you can see, right, for the front end development, they'll be used to creating a lot of engaging pictures, visuals, animations. That's using this programming languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and frameworks. And then backend development, right? Of course, you have to use a lot of logic thinking programming languages like Java, and as well as databases to retrieve and storing your information more effectively and to deploy efficiently. But of course, in this course for the SCTP full stack developer, right, we added in new skills like DevOps and cloud native. Okay, DevOps is actually development and operations combined together. That's called DevOps. Okay, so you do a lot of CI and CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. Meaning to say that there are a lot of version updates. So the developers will ensure that your apps are always maintained well. There's no bugs. There's no errors. It's why they do a lot of continuous testing and debugging, making sure that whatever you use every day on your phone, those apps will be smooth, or maybe your office application will be very stable as well. So for the cloud native as well, we having this skill to teach you more of scaling all your apps deployment on the cloud native. Okay, so these are two new skills that the modern full stack developer will have in the SCTP course that we have. Okay, then may I ask, why do we want to take this program? Okay, so for the demand of full stack developers, it is expected to increase by up to 21% over the next decade. So as you can see, the job street market, right, there is a lot of demand for full stack developer, maybe on the junior level to the senior level. There are about 472 jobs. I just took this from the last 2 weeks in May. So the average salary for the full stack developer is around about 4,400 to 6,900 for the popular jobs search websites that you can see here. Okay, so as you can see here, what is trending in the full stack developer landscape is JavaScript is the top of the developers worldwide as well. 2023 all the way to 2025. You can see that JavaScript is one of the main used tool to be developing all your apps to be run on your mobile phone, all the way to your desktop or your software that is available today. So on Glassdoor, as you can see, JavaScript is still on the top. So for the SCTP full stack developer program, who can actually be eligible to sign up? Probably if you have a STEM background, a minimum diploma. What is the STEM background? Maybe in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. Okay, it must be 21 years and above, and it must meet all the functional and generic competencies you can see here. So for the full stack developer pathways at NTUC LearningHub that have, okay, with the 18 modules in total, but I'm going to bring you step by step. Okay, for the fundamental part of it, okay, we're going to dive you the fundamental modules that's developing the IT world of software and development, followed by the core Java. We're going to bring you all the fundamentals to get you through the developing apps, okay, using JavaScript and web development. And of course, we're going to dive you through to React as well. And then next, we're going to dive you more into the software architecture and web development, followed by exploring how you're going to put data into the database and introducing Linux programming as well. And we're going to teach you how to pack all this information of software architecture into the container platform. Okay, and after that, we have a capstone to help you to develop a project based on what you have learned so far. Right. For the next few topics, right, we're going to bring you to how you're going to upload and build your portfolio on the GitHub, and it's also using your Copilot as well, and further deepening your skills in JavaScript and advanced JS, okay, JavaScript, and also deepening your skills in database technologies and using OpenShift container, how you're going to package more application to deploy, okay. And the last three modules, we're going to teach you how to develop more of an efficient workflow in software development, followed by just now what I've shared with you to learn DevOps operations, okay, and using CI/CD, continuous integration and deployment, as well as to introduce you to cloud native design to upload more of your software apps online. Okay, so in total, from the start to finish, we have a total of 18 modules, a duration of 52 days, 416 hours. Okay, for people who are interested in taking the full stack developer, okay, so this is what you will get as at the end of the program. As you complete the 18 modules, you get each module that you complete, go through, you have a modular certificate of completion. Okay, you meet at least 75% attendance and passing all the prescribed assessments that we have for you. And of course, at the end of the 18 modules, you get a transcript, okay, reflecting as part of your list of the modules attended. And of course, you get a final certificate of attendance should you pass all the required requirements. Okay, so the cost fee for the full stack development developer software as follows. Okay, if you are 70, you get 70% funding if you are age 21 and above, $7,056. And of course, above 40 years old, you pay 10, you get 90% funding. You can pay 10% of the program, about $2,740. And followed by the 95% funding, you only pay about $1,661. Okay, so for the seats availability for the full stack developer schedule, there's limited seats. We have another 2 cohorts. We're still filling up. So June cohort is already starting next month. We have 8 seats left. So do check your schedule and followed by July schedule as well. July schedule just open, so we have 18 seats left. So it's still a hot seat, hot seat program. So take note in your schedule for those who are interested to take a full stack developer to make your what I call next job role in the IT sector. Yeah, so I just leave the screen for next 2 to 3 seconds for you to take a snapshot or screenshot, whatever you need to. And of course, for my final slide, thanks for bearing with us. Okay, I'm going to share with you the QR code. Yeah, please kindly scan the QR code to give us a feedback, for the SCTP webinar. To let us know how we can actually improve or anything that you want to ask questions or anything. Please scan and fill up this webinar form. And thank you so much for your kind patience for attending this afternoon. I know it's very long. You have heard all of our product managers who have shared with you all the SCTP programs. Do scan the QR code and let us know what you need to find out more. We will try our best to even answer it for you. And after which, okay, we're going to proceed to the Q&A session where we will answer some of the burning questions that you might have. Yeah, so I think I pass back to the organizers. Yeah, hang on. Okay, I get all my fellow colleagues to come and take part in this Q&A session, the hot seat. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone for staying through this session. So we'll be here for the next 10 minutes. So if you have any questions, please post your questions. We will answer as many as possible.
Senthil, there's some questions on the Q&A.
Okay, Q&A, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the first one is from Go Jefferson. Do I need to quit job to join the program? And what duration of part-time and full-time?
Okay, actually, we do not increase that. But having said that, I've also come across candidates, for example, they may think they are underpaid, or some of them, they know that they are going to be retrenched in the next 1-2 months for whatever reasons. So I've seen such candidates, quitting their job and then joining SCTP. So if you belong to that persona, yes, you can consider applying for full-time after quitting the job, but it's not recommended. But we are also going to launch part-time SCTPs in the coming months, which you can look forward on our website. We will be making announcements on that as well. Yeah.
All right. Next question, Central, is from Maverick Chung. Can I don't join your course since I
Oh,
already have the cert in data analyst adult learning, but be included in your career support services such as networking with potential employers?
yes, please drop us a note, and then our career services team will get in touch with you, and they will invite you for the various activities that we are doing.
All right. The next question is from Christy Ng. Do we have a networking session in December?
Networking session. Yeah, I fully don't understand this question, but are you referring to, like, do we have this SCTPs in December? Is that your question? Or
I think
Yeah,
they're
I
asking
think it is.
whether we do have like a placement activity of networking with potential employers in December.
yeah, because the placement activities are ongoing. We work hand in hand with our sister entity E2I. So they do like a lot of, career fairs. So we also participate, and we invite our SCTP trainees to also participate. Yeah, it's year long.
So the next question I think we have is from an anonymous, say market demand for software engineer is lesser now. So he's asking whether there's less demand for software engineer as companies build application that require less software engineer. I think he's referring to like using AI or those kind of things.
That's true. But on the other hand, right, companies are also in the process of modernizing their development practices. Okay, so if you happen to be an existing developer, okay, and let's say you are a developer for the last 10-20 years, and you have not gone for any upskilling courses in the recent years, okay? So the development landscape has changed completely. And maybe I let Josen explain what are the changes that has happened and why it's important for you to have the new cloud native skills, okay? Because employees are now looking for cloud native skills, not the traditional development skills. Maybe Josen, you want to add on a few words?
Yeah, so true. So as what my colleague has mentioned, Edmund. So in the past, right? So we only have front end stack, and then we have back end stack. So again, you only deal with building the front end, the GUI, then the back end, which is the business logic. But things have changed. Okay, now we have many organizations going towards the cloud. So deploying application over the cloud is very important nowadays, because when talking about scaling an application, right? If you want to give your application more resources, a bunch of resources, especially that application nowadays have some sort of AI integration. And if you want to have an application that is intelligent, you have to give it more resources. And the best way to give it more resources is by deploying the application over the cloud. So learning how to deploy application over the cloud and making the application compatible when it comes to coding over the cloud is very important. That's number one. And then also we have some set of thought that says, when you are deploying application down to the hands of the end users, you have to know DevOps, because DevOps, as what my colleague has mentioned, is about the collaboration between the developers and the operations. According to Microsoft, 80% of application deployment would fail without DevOps. So in our training program, we're including DevOps as well, so that you can so that you can do collaboration properly with the developers and the operations using our CI/CD tools. Because apparently the best way to make things a lot efficient, a lot faster, is by doing automation, by automating the process of handing over the application to the operation, then deploying it down to the end users. Yeah. So again, the point actually is, nowadays it's not enough that you only have the front end, the back end. You also have to have skills that deals with DevOps and then cloud native development. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Josen.
Thank you, Josen.
Okay, thanks, Josen.
So in short, we have been seeing in the news every day, right? Fresh grads are struggling to find jobs. Even yesterday, 2 days ago, there was an article, the PAI grads, the number of graduates who are getting like full-time jobs is getting lesser and lesser year after year. So one of the reasons is also the mismatch between the skills that the fresh grads have versus what the industry is looking for. Okay, this is where the likes of LearningHub will come in to address the gap. Okay, because we focus more importance on the practical skills, the industry relevant skills that the companies are looking for, and which is why our trainees are able to find a job. Yeah. So taking the software development example, the fresh grads fresh from the school are not adequately trained in DevOps practices, in cloud native development techniques, the modern technology stacks, the cloud platform. So all these they are not trained, which is why they are struggling to find a job. On the other hand, if trainees have the in-demand skills that we are covering in our course, like what Joseph explained, I think you stand a high chance. Even the big banks, the financial institutions will be keen to call you for an interview. Yeah.
There's another question. Can I take the full stack developer course, but I will still do managerial roles?
Okay, so as you know, SCTP is targeted at Singaporeans who are looking for career conversion. So because we only have limited number of training places for each track, we typically prioritize on candidates who are looking for immediate, reskilling opportunities. Yeah, because we want to help more who really need immediate support. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. I think the next question is, apologies if I missed this, for SCTP full stack, which companies usually take in SCTP student, and what are the salary range, and if there's any bond?
Okay, every company now needs full stack developers. Okay, so now every company wants to get into the AI space, right? AI is now the hot thing. Every company wants to leverage on AI, whether providing AI-based services for in-house employees, or let's say this is a product company, right? The customers are expecting AI features in the products. Okay, so companies that are mid to large sized are under pressure to modernize their IT. So if the company is not on cloud, they are going to cloud. If the company is not using AI, they are using AI. If the companies are using the ancient way of developing software, now they are modernizing. So given all these macroeconomic factors, I think there are high opportunities. Every other company, mid to large sized, will require cloud native full stack developers. Yeah.
Thanks. Next question is, I've completed the certificate in AI for healthcare course with NUS, and I've obtained the SCTP certificate in healthcare administration from SUSS. I'm now exploring digital roles that align with my passion for healthcare, combining my interest in technology with my commitment to making a meaningful impact in the sector. I think trainee wanted to ask how those courses that he took can be aligned with the digital technology.
Yeah, I think I answered this candidate, Connie, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I think data analyst may be a good program for you. I think your earlier question was about the capstone project, right? So a capstone project is typically agnostic. It's not focusing on any specific sector. But once you complete the program, you will have the required technical skills needed to do the job. But with the technical skills, you can then apply for jobs in pharmas, the CROs, the contract research organizations, pharma companies, biotech companies, those companies in clinical research, and they will be the ones to provide you with on-the-job training. And this will be your first job. I think your current certifications from the likes of NUS will complement, with the technical skills that you're going to gain from the data analytics track.
Next question. I'm in my mid-50s and I have my CISSP certificate. Till today, I'm jobless. Not sure if taking these courses will help me get a job.
Okay, I think we fully don't understand your profile. I suggest we have a separate discussion with your CV, because CISSP cert on its own may not carry enough value, because end of the day, what matters most is your experience. Okay, but CISSP will definitely help you open door. Employers will see you as a somebody who has experience, because CISSP. Okay, again, I don't know, because your question is not very clear. I don't know whether you attended CISSP or whether you eventually passed the CISSP certification. So which is why it's good to have a separate discussion. Then we can understand you a bit more to recommend the right learning pathway.
All right. Next question, actually, it's mentioned on the Agile Project Manager. So they wanted to see the three bullet point on the rise of agile methodology. So the three bullet point that I flashed just now was basically agile methodology is becoming popular because it is iterative, number one, and number two, it is collaborative, and number three, it is also customer centric. So because of these three critical points, conducting agile, using agile to manage project actually helps to deliver the project faster and also achieve higher satisfaction for the employee. Next question, are the skills and certification from project management course transferable to any industry or only applicable to IT sector? So, for example, can I pivot away from IT to any industry with this course in years to come? Plus, are the certificate recognized internationally if I were to apply for remote roles? So maybe, Senthil, I will just give my first take and then you can add on. So the answer is whether the question of whether the skills and certification for Agile project manager is transferable to any other industry. So for our Agile IT project manager is actually skewed towards training you to become an IT project manager. But at the same time, there is also a growing interest from a different segment of the industry, such as HR, marketing, to actually use some of the agile methodology in managing their project. So the long and short answer is that it is focused on agile IT project manager, but yes, some of the skill set that you learn can be transferable to the different industry. Number two, can I pivot away from IT to other industries with this course in year? So I think I've answered that. Plus, are the certificate recognized internationally if I were to apply for remote roles? So the answer is yes, because certification like PMP, Scrum Alliance are all certification from United States, and say they are globally recognized. Do you want to add on, Senthil?
Yeah, I think Papuji vastly covered everything. Just to add on one other point, I think traditionally the role of project management is very popular or very common in, I think number one sector is ICT, followed by engineering. These are the top two sectors that employs a lot of project managers versus any other sector. But today we are also seeing the line, is getting blurred between ICT and engineering. Because if you look at engineering sector, right, whatever products that we use in day-to-day life, be it our air cons, our vacuum cleaners, or any gadgets that we use, or even the new cars, the upcoming cars, everything is controlled by software. So in other words, even the engineering sector is actually transforming into an ICT sector. So as Mark Anderson said, right, in my earlier slides, if you recall, the gentleman Mark Anderson said, every company is becoming software company. So this is reality. So with the skills that you acquire from this program, actually you can play a key role in any company that is going through, like digital transformation, or if it is an IT project. Yeah, the skills are transferable.
All right. Next question. Realistically, how are we going to stack up against fresh graduate from universities in Singapore?
Stack up against fresh grads. So as I mentioned before, fresh grads, many of them do not have the industry relevant skills. They don't have the certifications. I think we already gave a number of examples, what kind of skills they lack. So this is what we are trying to address through the SCTP. So I think our SCTP trainees, after getting the necessary skills, stand a high chance. And most importantly, fresh grads, even those with 2 to 3 years experience, may not have the people skills, the so-called the soft skills that employees highly value. So you, as a mature professional, you may have skill sets like communication, problem solving, like managing stakeholders, which carry more weight. Yeah, which will help you in landing a job as well.
All right. Next question. Would the full stack developer SCTP put me in good standing in the AI/ML space? So he has a passion for AI/ML.
Yeah, this one again, I let Josen answer.
Yeah, so if your intention is to build an application that is powered by AI, machine learning, so for example, you want to build intelligent bots, then for that, we have a separate program called Associate AI/ML Developer. So again, if your intention is to build AI-powered application integrated with AI algorithms, then we would suggest that you take that particular program. So SCTP, Associate AI/ML Developer, you can learn more about that program by connecting to our account executives. The full stack developer will teach you the full stack. So building the enterprise application using JavaScripts, using HTML, using Java, but it doesn't really cover AI development in a nutshell. Okay, but it can be your first step. Yeah, first step into, again, so again, if you're not yet into development at all, the first level I would say is full stack developments. Then if you want to go down to the next level, dealing with AI development, then you can go down and take our associate AI ML developer. Yep.
Next question, are data analyst roles still in demand currently? So the in-demand list states data scientist and data engineer, and these are higher level roles. So how do they compare with data analyst?
Okay, so actually there is high demand for the role of data analyst. Just that I suggest don't just look for the role of data analyst, because data analyst is a technical role. But on the other hand, right, many of you comes from different walks of life. You may be coming from different business functions. Say some of you from marketing, from sales, from ops, right? So you also need to look for roles such as marketing analyst, sales analyst, financial analyst, HR analyst, because all the domains. So gone are the days, because last time data analyst role was actually was classified. It was structurally under IT department, but now the situation is completely different. Every department, every business function in the company are starting to hire their own data analysts. So the role is decentralized. So if you have strong domain knowledge, right, whether it's be it ops, sales, or marketing, then look out for opportunities along that leverages on your domain knowledge. You stand a high chance to find a job, not just as a normal technical data analyst. Okay, and most jobs, right, if you go to JobSeat or any job portal, most data analyst jobs at entry level only ask you for 3 things: SQL, Python, and Power BI. And we are actually covering that adequately in our program, the 3 things. Yeah.
Senthil, there's another question which I think I will leave it to a neutral person like you to answer it. So the question is, are project manager or data analyst more in demand currently going forward?
How do I say? I think you cannot compare apples with mangoes, right? I think both are in demand in their own perspective. So data analyst is an entry-level job. On the other hand, project management is not really an entry-level job. It's an intermediate to advanced level job. So when you apply for the role of project management, employers expect you to have managerial experience. Okay, so which is like people management, managing stakeholders, strong communication, having collaborative skills. So the expectations are different for project management, which is managerial role, versus data analyst role, for which whatever I mentioned is good to have, but employees are not going to place more value. Yeah.
All right. I think there's no other questions on the Q&A. So probably we can end the session today. Any last minute questions before we end? Okay, there's one question for a data analyst after graduating from this data analyst course. Is it a must to have a degree?
Okay, so this one, things are changing. I think traditionally, our employees, they prefer somebody with minimally a degree, right? But things are changing now. Even the government, some of the big employees in Singapore are talking about skills-based hiring. So if you search for skills-based hiring, there will be tons of articles on this, not just in Singapore, at the global level. Yeah, because there are simply not enough people to fill the jobs. So because of this skills-based hiring movement, I think more employers will be willing to accept, candidates, even those who are not degree holders. Yeah.
All right. I think there's no other questions. Any last minute from the panelists before we end? Okay, there's one more question. Data analytics and project management, does it go hand in hand?
Actually, data analytics goes hand in hand with every single vertical. Yeah, actually same for project management also, both of them, right? Because whatever we do in life is project. Okay, whether you plan your kid's birthday party, your wedding, everything is a project, right? So project management is applicable for everybody. Likewise, the same goes for data analytics. Every division, every department, okay, is producing a lot of data, and there is a need to analyze data and find the valuable information. So actually, both are versatile. Both are required across all the industries, all the business functions.
There's a question, is cybersecurity associate an online course?
Can James take? If not,
James is not.
Yeah, it's not around.
Yeah, I think to my understanding, it's 90%, not 100% is online. It's through Zoom. Yeah, I think only the first module, which is the foundation module, is face-to-face. The remaining modules are done through Zoom.
All right. So another questions, will training allowance be available for self-employed or freelancer while taking the SCTP course?
Okay, this really depends whether you're currently getting CPF contribution from an employer. So if you're not very sure, you can check with one of our skills consultants. They will guide you how you can check, using your Sync Pass, how you can check whether you're eligible. And if you're eligible, how much are you eligible for? So they will guide you.
Okay, there's another question for Agile project management. Which certification are part of the SCTP? So maybe I can answer that. So for Agile project management, they're basically aligned to 6 globally recognized certification. So and then out of the 6, 4 of them includes the exam voucher as part of the course fee. So the 4 that is already inclusive of the exam voucher are CSM, Certified Scrum Master, Safe Agilist, ITIL Foundation 4, and also DevOps Leader. While the other 2 globally recognized certification, which does not include the exam voucher in the course fee, are PMP by PMI and also Power BI by Microsoft. Next, okay, there's another question. I was wondering if there are companies to take in individuals to train and pay them while they are training with them, and upon completion, work for them.
Okay, not much for the SCTP, because SCTP is more of a program focusing on individual trainees. But there are many other schemes out there. For example, there is a scheme called Career Conversion Program, which is actually initiated by the employer. So what happens in that scheme is the employer will hire career switchers, and then the employer will sponsor the trainee to go for training. And while they're going for training, they will also subsidize, provide salary. But this is not very common. It's not very common. So while such a scheme do exist, it's not very common.
All right. Next question. If I already have some certification like Scrum Master and ITIL, how does the Agile management course help? So number one, if you decide to take the SCTP Agile IT Project Manager, with those 2 certification, if you can show us your certificate of completion, we will be able to give you exemption for these 2 subjects. And secondly, so that's one way of how it helps you. If you take the Agile management course, now we can grant you exemption up to 15% of the training hours. All right. Next question. If I start with cloud and DevOps, would it be difficult transition to learn full stack developer?
Yeah, this one to Joseph.
Yeah. So this is in fact our prerequisite for full stack development because it's a high entry criteria program. So we do require that candidates would have some background in either being an application developer or DevOps engineer. So yeah, if you already have the skill sets in cloud and DevOps, then that would be a perfect fit for going down to full stack developer. Okay, maybe Edmund we want to add some into it. Edmund?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, because I think where I mentioned the program, right, it's needed that you come from the STEM background, as my colleague has written. You come for application, there will be a plus benefits. You come from a DevOps engineer background, you'll be a plus point for people who are going to the full stack developer. So I think it's a complementary skill so that you won't fall behind. So you're able to handle the demands of that program. Like I say, the full stack developer program is a very intensive program. For those people who are very serious to go into the full stack development space. Yeah, thanks.
Next, there's a question for IT project management course. If I already have SAFE certification, can I request to replace it with an exam voucher for the other 2? So the answer is that you can seek for exemption for the SAFE certification, but we won't be able to grant you to exchange it with other voucher. Next question, what background is required for DevOps course?
Yeah, let me take that question.
Yeah.
DevOps let me try to understand DevOps Foundation course or the SCTP full stack development course. I think that's we need to find out more from you. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I think there's no other questions on the chat. He's referring to DevOps Foundation.
I think we have a lot of short courses in DevOps Foundation. There's no prerequisites. You can actually sign up. Do look to our skills consultant for more information. Yeah, thanks.
All right. I think there's no other questions, so we can end the session. I first of all thanks all the panelists, Senthil, Josan, and Edmund, and also our cost consultant Wailun and his team. Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone
Thanks,
for joining
Thanks
us.
everyone for attending.
Bye.
Bye
Have a
bye.
nice day.
Hey, have a nice
Bye.
day.